Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so of course, the Lakers made the trade for Dorian Finney Smith, Shake Milton, sending out 3 second-round picks, D'Angelo Russell expiring contract, and of course, Maxwell Lewis, the young prospect who's been in the G League for us. Um, and now I'm hearing people talking about, what they think the Lakers need. And I think that the understanding that I want everybody who follows me to have is that now, at this point, we've plugged one hole, but we opened another. And that's what people need to be okay with. You can't just say, okay, we got rid of D'Lo. D'Lo wasn't very good. We got Dorian Finney-Smith. Now we can switch everything and we're great. No, D'Lo did something very specific for your team that you now don't have him here to do. And that's be a point guard facilitating the basketball to other people and a big guard that provides size at that position. Now, Austin could still be that, but Austin's one human being. Who else is making plays for other people? Well, of course, you may say LeBron James. Of course, he does that. But is he really a sufficient player in regards to getting people the ball when he's not on the floor? Because a lot of times he's not out there. If he's going to be in the starting lineup, he's not going to be in the second unit. Austin and LeBron are both starting together. So who's facilitating the basketball? Some of y'all may say, well, that's what Shake Milton's for. Nuh-uh. And I heard Rob Pelinka's statement that he said, oh, we're excited about Shake Milton's playmaking. He doesn't do that. That's not his game. He's a scorer. And we've made this mistake with Gabe Vincent because I heard a lot of people throughout the offseason, oh, Gabe Vincent's going to facilitate, play some point guard. No, he can play some point guard. Don't ask him to facilitate. Those are two different things. Just because the dude is short don't mean he's getting bodies involved in the offense. Your offense is going to be stagnant. This is a player looking for his own. He's looking for his own. Shake Milton is looking for his own. I want everybody to remember and key into what I'm saying right now. Shake Milton is looking for his own. Meaning, when he gets out there, don't expect for him to be looking for AD. Don't expect him for looking for Austin. Don't expect him to get Rui his touches. Don't expect for any of that. That's what you allowed the Nets to have in giving up D'Angelo Russell. Now, do I make the trade? Of course, I'm fine with the trade. I just now understand we have holes that we need to fill. And one of them needs to be taken into account because there hasn't been a hole up until today. And that's backup facilitator. So we need to address that or our team is going to be stagnant offensively. We may be very good defensively, but our offense is going to suffer. When you got the only two facilitators you got on this whole team playing in the starting lineup, who the hell is getting the role players involved? JJ's going to have to figure that out. And if he doesn't think that's a problem, what he's going to find out is that he has a significant stagnation issue with his second unit. As in nobody else is playmaking. Everybody's looking for their own shot. It's me ball time. You need that connective piece out there. And if you don't have it, you're not playing basketball. So this is something that I understand deeply. And I want people who else is on this, who follow me to understand this as well. We have opened a brand new hole. We now have a new need on our roster that we must fill. And it ain't just the center position like everybody thinks. Because you let something go when you brought in Dorian, and Dorian doesn't do what D'Lo does. Who is getting assists off? Between Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, you have brought in an average of 2 assists a game. By letting go of D'Lo, you got rid of double that. So if you don't understand how serious that is, you're going to. You may be a lot more capable of defending people, but it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to get points. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder to see good ball movement. And that is where I think people are going to be really upset. Shake Milton is not that. Shake Milton is more like Gabe Vincent in that way. He's looking for his own shot, man. He's looking for somebody to get him the ball. A facilitator like D'Lo is supposed to get Shake the ball. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people, I'm listening to a lot of Laker heads. I don't think they really see that coming. They don't see that coming. The 15-point third quarters that we have our bench in, when AD's not on the floor, Bron ain't on the floor, and Austin ain't on the floor, you're going to find out there's nobody facilitating. Anthony Davis has a new role. Because in those situations, if Austin and Bron ain't on the floor, he's probably the best passer we got. And with him improving in that area over the last several years, I expect for his assist numbers to go up out of necessity. So I think this is going to be a problem if we don't address it rather soon. You can live without switchable defenders to a degree. As in bringing in what Dorian had, you needed that to get you to the next level. The problem is you could not remove that connective piece and expect to do anything. You remove that connective piece, and it is arguably a bigger problem on a common basketball floor than being able to switch everything and having a nice three-point shooting 6'7" guy. It helps a thing so long as that other thing ain't gone. And in this case, it is. So what I'm saying to you is I see a bigger problem than the one we had before we made this trade. And that problem is, who the hell is getting the ball to everybody? And if we don't have an answer for that, if we ain't going to groom Jalen Hood-Schifino immediately to be that facilitator because he profiles to be that, we're going to have some significant issues with the continuity of our offense when Bron and Austin are not on the floor. So I just want people to understand the basketball is not as pretty when you don't have that piece on them down there, man. And we have not been without that piece for a long time. When D'Lo wasn't in place, we usually, what was it, Lonzo Ball? We always had somebody looking for others. Always had somebody who's going to be a connective piece, who's going to make sure the ball pops and gets into people's shooting pocket and stuff like that. For role players, especially guys who can't create for themselves, it's even more important that you have that piece. And we have removed that piece. Austin can be that piece at times, and he's been playing very well at it lately, but I haven't forgotten the turnover games that Austin has. It's good to be able to audible out of Austin at times, be able to give him a breather and still have a connective piece on the floor, and we're used to having that piece. D'Lo didn't miss too many games, and when he did, you would have Austin, you would have Bron, you would have this. Bron has been missing games lately. Austin just came back from injury, and mind you, we've had Austin play 82 games last year. He's already missed like 4 or 5 this year, so I think it's a very urgent matter for Rob Pelinka to get us a facilitator right now. I don't know, how close he is to making a trade, but you thought the need to have a switchable defender was important. You wait till you find out what it's like to not have a backup facilitator. Y'all better call Jalen Hood-Schifino up, man. I'm telling you. I could not be more serious about what I'm saying. None of the people on our team, outside of the 3 people I named, are profiled to pass the ball to anybody, man. They're not. Rui don't pass. Max is bad at it. Gabe don't pass. Who else are we using in rotation? Name them. Name them. They're not a passer. If it's not Austin, if it ain't Bron, and now AD who can make assists happen, he had 8 in the last game. If it ain't one of those 3, they're not on the roster. You got a bunch of people who can do a lot of things. None of them are making anybody better outside of those 3. And all 3 of those people are in your starting lineup. They can't get in foul trouble or your continuity goes to hell. So this is a bigger problem than the one that we had before this. And that's what I tell you. You can have all of the different things that make your car look souped up. Put rims on it, get great sounds, tint the windows, get all types of kits, get all types of speed stuff, all that. If you do not have a working wheel, that thing is not going anywhere. If you don't have an engine, that thing ain't going anywhere. And that is exactly what we potentially removed from our team by letting D'Lo, an assist guy, go. Because even on a bad night, D'Lo's walking away with 5 assists, 7 assists. On a bad night, he's making passes to make people better. That piece is gone. And without that piece, you are looking at some ugly basketball offensively. Ugly. So I'm fine with us doing this because D'Lo was an expiring contract, underachieved. We really need scoring off of the bench. He wasn't providing it. Dorian provides a lot of needs, including fixing our roster so that we have more comparable size out there. Our small ball lineup should look better. Our defensive rebounding should be better. Our offensive rebounding could potentially be better. Dorian is a very important piece to the upside of what it is we want to be. But you just remove something that makes other things go. And there's too many guys relying on that piece to go. And that is what I know. So we better get us a facilitator out here right now, man. I don't know if you're going to try to get that expiring contract Alonzo Ball. I don't think that might be capable. I don't think we can really do that at this point via the numbers. I think D'Lo was the only piece that can make that happen. And that's another thing. If we're going to try to make plays now, or trades rather, one of the more attractive pieces we had was D'Angelo Russell. And that was an expiring $20 million contract with a player who could, with a high ceiling. Low floor, but high ceiling. Now that you've used that piece on Dorian Finney-Smith, you don't have it to use in other areas, which means the stuff that you're likely going to be forced to throw into trades is going to be like Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, or likely stuff that ain't looking good in the market. Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Jackson Hayes, Max Christie is going to be asked about. So in order to get that facilitating piece, you got to hope somebody's willing to take something that you really would rather not give up. And that is a first round pick if you're going to ask them to take one of those players that doesn't look good. You see what I'm saying? The likelihood that someone's going to demand you give up a first round pick in order to get their nice facilitating player is high, which tells me that the Lakers might potentially have a line drive on either, and this is a weird kind of statement out of me, to be honest with you, because I don't know that this equates to that, but either they have a line drive on De'Aaron Fox or Jimmy Butler or another facilitating piece. Jimmy can come in and be that facilitating piece. He's more than capable of getting assists. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is a natural born point guard. He's going to get assists off. If you're not bringing in that facilitator, you're going to have moments in the time in the basketball game where your offense is just not going to be any good. You're going to see guys looking around trying to make things happen for themselves, looking other people off, other guys getting out of rhythm. It's going to be stone cold ugly out there. I'm telling you, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless we want to start running some type of triangle offense while those guys ain't on the floor, maybe we can start working some type of principles in that kind of force guys to work with one another. If you don't implement that type of offensive structure, with the problems that we have, we're going to have me ball out there. The ball is not going to be moving very much. One and done, early shot clock, jump shots and stuff like that. It's going to get hideous. And you're going to lose because of it on a lot of nights. Defense improves, offense goes to hell. Some of those good offensive plays, full court plays that D'Lo would make, passes, bounce passes, efficient passes to different guys that give guys good looks on cuts. Guys like Dalton Connect can, play off ball. Austin Reeves playing off ball. D'Lo was finding those people in those situations. You don't have that piece looking for those people anymore. So I'm telling you, Lakers, you lost something major with D'Angelo Russell's facilitating leaving the building. And if you don't replace it, we got bigger problems than we had before we made the trade. That's the bottom line, man. I know better. This is a rhythm game. The ball moves, and if it does, things happen. If the ball ain't moving, you're not playing basketball. Not at this level. You're doing something, but it ain't basketball. So that's what I understand deeply. I understand that a good portion of the people who I've been listening to have not put a strong enough of an emphasis on that. But that's why you have me. That's exactly why you have me. Because I see the game a certain way, and there are certain things that I know people are not prepared for. And I've seen one too many teams that don't have facilitators, and I know what they're looking at. I know what they look like. They have good defenders, they have athletes, they got all types of stuff, but it's me ball, and it's ugly, and they need that facilitator, and they're not very good teams. They just don't have that piece in more than one or two places in a lot of cases. It just doesn't work. And that's exactly what we just turned ourselves into. So, you know what I'm saying? Keeping D'Lo wasn't an option. He was going to expire, probably lose him for nothing, or have to play him more than we wanted to pay him. He just wasn't a piece. But something that he did was so very important. And that's really what the emphasis is in this video. So, as long as Austin's, doing what he's been doing, controlling the ball, turnovers are going to be a thing against good defenses. We know that. But, the way that he's been facilitating over the last 2 games has been at an all-star level. I'm not overly thrilled about him being my only point guard, to be honest with you. I'd much rather him do some of his playmaking in the 2-guard spot or the 1 spot at times. I was listening to somebody, I don't know who that person was, one of the people that I was listening to that was a host on someone else's show, or not a host, but a guest, I believe it was, and they were essentially saying they were not overly excited about Austin being the only point guard on this team. I like Austin as a option. The option, I think he's a little too much. He's a little too focused on looking for fouls a lot of times, and he tends to turn the ball over a little too much for me to think that this is a good idea. I don't think so. It seems like the Lakers believe it is, but I don't think so. I don't think you need at this point somebody who's going to facilitate Josh Giddey. What's the dude that the Phoenix Suns just picked up in free agency that we were going after? I can't think of his name, but he has a brother named Trey, I believe. God, what is his name? He has a brother in San Antonio. He's also in Phoenix. He used to play for the Wizards. That guy who's really good at not turning the ball over and getting assists off, we could use him right now. Like I said, Lonzo Ball would be a good piece to bring in right now. You need that guy. You need that facilitator, man, that connective piece, that person that knows how to move the ball as quickly as they get it and put it where it needs to go. Josh Giddey would be great. I know a lot of people don't like Josh Giddey, but I think he would be perfect for the role that we need right now. And given that he's an expiring contract, I don't know if the Bulls are going to re-sign him or not. I would want him for the rest of the season. I would be fielding calls to Chicago to see if I can get either him or Lonzo out of there if I can. Because you need what he does. You need it. You need it bad. And so that's the emphasis I'm trying to put on it, man. This video. I want people to like really believe me when I say this. Like this is an immediate problem that we're not going to be able to supplement with the roster that we have, unless people become a bit more comfortable with Jalen Hood-Schifino and let him play the point guard role and let him groom out the point guard role just like we're allowing Max to get his minutes. Let Jalen get his minutes as the backup point guard now that D'Lo's gone, because he's the guy that profiles to be able to do this if he could just grow up and play for us. And that's also something I want to say. The Lakers, from my perspective, have been kind of hiding him and hoping they could trade him and this and that. If you can't get that facilitator, you need that player. If you can't find that facilitator in a trade, you need Jalen Hood-Schifino. And this is one of the things that I think could potentially be a big mistake for our front office in signaling to everybody that Jalen Hood-Schifino is somebody we're very comfortable moving on from, knowing that they were going to move on from D'Lo and the chances of us not getting that piece back in trading D'Lo. We should have been a bit more open-minded to the necessary need of what Jalen Hood-Schifino as a big facilitating guard could potentially mean for us in the event this happened. Because now we may need to play that kid. We're going to play his value up above the $4 million threshold range, which is the most we'll be able to pay him or anybody else will be able to pay him if we trade that player anywhere. And he's likely going to leave us in free agency because we're going to utilize him the way we're supposed to have this piece in place, and he's going to automatically play his value up. If Austin goes down, this becomes a need. Now, what you could do is forego playing him and then live with the results so that you don't have this, for which I just described, take place. But as a result, your team's going to be worse. Rob Pelinka, you need to get that facilitator, or you got to play Jalen Hood-Schifino and be prepared for his value to increase past that $4 million threshold, which you're likely going to lose him at the end of the season as a 21-year-old point guard with a lot of upside. This was foreseeable, guys. But I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. That's not yet the problem. We have a solution. We need to turn Gabe Vincent and potentially Jalen himself into that facilitating piece. If you can turn Gabe Vincent and Jalen Hood-Schifino into Josh Giddey, which I wouldn't do if I'm Chicago, or into Lonzo Ball, which I don't think you can do by the numbers. But you got to do that. You got to find a way to do that. You got to find a way to get that point guard in place. Somebody you can trust. Somebody's going to get the ball to everybody else. So that's really what it is, man. Austin is not that answer. He can do that, but he's only one person. You need more than one of those. And Bron is not somebody you're going to be asking to do that at this stage of his career. And when you do, your turnovers go up. It just is what it is. So people was tired of D'Lo, but they also going to be tired of what comes with not having him on the floor. Some of these, cuts that Bron likes to get and stuff. D'Lo was the one finding you in them cuts, man. That off-ball stuff, that some of this, dashing to the rim stuff. Dalton Connect plays great off the ball, as I already mentioned. Some of that stuff, whoever's on the floor with these people are not going to be finding them like that. Not like D'Lo used to find them. D'Lo's a gifted passer, man. He had other issues, things that we didn't like. But that one thing, you could always count on him getting people the ball for scoring opportunities. You just don't have that no more. And it's going to sting bad, Lakers. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.